While farming is threatened by changing economics, leisure is a fast-growing industry, and leisure activity is becoming increasingly demanding, with more and more pursuits jostling for space in the air, on the land, and on the water. Maybe the wilderness is on the way to becoming a vast adventure playground.
Left, Jeremy. You're all right. Hold on. Step round first. Right, and down.
It's hard work, Dartmoor, because all our sites have to walk up. But around Dartmoor, we fly almost every direction. We've got a hill for every direction, but they're not very big and they're not very steep. And this one's not very wide either, so it's all three areas of this one. But we make the most of it. We only need somewhere to jump off, really, so that you can catch a thermal and away you go. Hopefully. The higher you get, the happier you are as well, and the safer you are as well. The last 3 weeks, such rain, thunderstorms, front after front coming in, depression after depression. What we're hoping is before this front comes in, there's enough surface heating of the ground to get the thermals moving, and that we all get up to cloud base and start making our way across the moor. You've got to make sure you're in a good thermal underneath a nice cloud, because it's about 8 miles to the nearest road over the back. So if you go down 4 miles, you've got 4 miles in any direction to walk. And this weighs 100 weight on your back for 4 miles, and it's really very hard work. Other things that Dartmoor's got, it seems to have its own sort of weather systems. Wherever you go on the moor, the general wind flow might be, say, an easterly. But wherever you go on the moor, if you go to an easterly facing site, you find the wind is flowing along the more southeasterly or even southerly. And then you go to another site, go to the southerly facing area, and there the wind is flowing along in an easterly direction. So it just tends to work its way around the moor, swirl around. It's very, very unpredictable in those sort of conditions. And it can be really nice and sunny all the way around the outside of Dartmoor, and it overdevelops over the top of the moor. It's just one solid covering of cloud, one solid layer of cloud. And that's very frustrating when you know in all the other parts of the country, away they go cross-country flying, having a great time. You know, you are scratching around 50 feet beneath the top with a horrible cloud cover above you.
People come from all over the country in search of this letterbox at Cranmere Pool. It's the original one. The Victorian who began the business of leaving his visiting cards had no idea what he was starting. Soon people were depositing stamped addressed postcards for the next walkers to collect and post from their hometowns. Now it's changed drastically, become a cult. Boxers in their thousands go out to stamp their books in what has become a collecting mania. There are currently over 2,000 so-called letterboxes on the moors, some of which are merely plastic carrier bags stuck under rocks. The hidden boxes mean that collectors are often pulling them more apart to find their next rubber stamp. Maybe in the end, the beauty of the place will be enough for a lot of these people, and they won't feel the need to bring anything home with them. Being there will have been enough. Unfortunately, mass activities and erosion can go together. It seems to be an insoluble problem, and it's getting worse. The shod hoof is carving up the wilderness as never before. Already there's a hint of autumn in the misty morning light. Down in the valley, Widdicombe is beginning its wake for the dead tourist season with the biggest event in the Dartmoor calendar. Widdicombe Fair is part catchpenny commercial and part authentic rural dream. It was made famous by Uncle Tom Cobley, who never reached the village on his old grey mare, but he'll be there today.
One thing I'd like to say is that let's be a bit short of committee members up in the car park up Widdicombe Hill. So I wondered if there's a couple of you boys that haven't got naught to do for half hour, if you could go up and run the car park up Widdicombe Hill, because it's short-handed up there, boys. So if you could do that, that would be a proper job. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'd like to welcome everybody, all the holiday makers, to Widdicombe in the Moor. Yes, indeed, you've come to Widdicombe Fair with sun shining for us. We're going to have a fair all day, and there's a lot of activity.
If any spectators on the field want to watch the show jumping, you're very welcome to come down to the bottom of the field and watch from outside the ropes of the show jumping.
And just warning the Shetland entries that we shall shortly be judging the Shetland classes. So if Class 6 can get themselves ready in the collecting ring, not down in the show ring as yet, just get yourselves organised, Class 6, the Shetland Stallions, in the collecting ring, which is just close below the committee tent.
In the ring now, number 89.
This is for Class 15, the most suitable pony to carry a child aged 8 years or under to be led. So we could have Class 15 into show ring number 2, quite close to the committee tent, please.
The last competitor, number 86, had 3 faults and a time of 44.59. Now in the ring, number 125. Mary Jane Ledger riding Iolanthe. This is the last to jump in the second jump off. We only have 1 clear round so far.
Miss E. Edwards, if she is, I wonder if she could come to the committee tent. That's Miss E. Edwards, who won the mounted fancy dress competition last year.
Miss, come on. Oh, no, bring me back those on you.
Anybody else like to come in and see hounds? You're very welcome. They're very friendly creatures.
Oh my word!
They'll lick you to death if you're not careful.
It's lovely.
So we will have to get
Oh, there's another one coming up.
Yes, they love
Oh, say good out. Who's going to gobble you up for his breakfast, Sarah?
Now, the South Devon Hunt Country, and we're sitting in the middle of the South Devon Hunt Country here at Widdicombe, is one of the largest hunt countries in the whole of the country. We have a good section of the moor, stretching up from the A38 out in a wedge to the middle of the moor at Post Bridge. A very fast pack, and they hunt this country very, very well. And I'm sure we're going to have a wonderful season with our new joint master hunting hounds.
There's another one up
We now come to the most useful pen that high-tech produce, and it's this one. It's what they call a fine liner.
What we do say to you, Joseph, is when you're doing your main day's clean, when you put the back. However, the company that I represent, again, as I've said, it's a British company. And what they say to me is this: to promote it, to advertise it. Instead of putting them in a box, we leave them in a plastic bag. You get exactly the same 2-year guarantee with my company's name and address. Instead of charging you £2.99, we knock you £1 off the price and we charge you just
I'd say in fact, why take me off?
What do the tourists leave behind? An empty drinks can? A fag packet? Lots of money in the tills of the cafes and shops and pubs? And what do they take away? I believe Richard Jefferies was right when he said, the hills purify those who walk on them. And certainly Dartmoor does give something back to the spirit. And it's nice to think that in the winter, in some far-off city, a man or a woman will look up from an unpleasant task and recall with a mixture of heartache and happiness the vision of a sunlit tor, or a field of cotton grass waving in the wind, or hills standing under a mass of cloud. But I'm glad that most of the visitors take away the diluted spirit of Dartmoor, because that leaves the wilderness completely alone for selfish wilderness addicts like myself to enjoy.